Hey, Facebook, Derek Rydall here, founder of the Law of Emergence and author of the best-selling books, Emergence and the Abundance Project. And I'm really excited to talk to you today about a subject that I'm going to be talking a lot more of and have been talking a lot more about. And I say in this title, anyone that tells you success is easy is either lying to you or they're failing. And I know that sounds a little harsh, and I'm not trying to be controversial for just controversy's sake, but that there's a big problem in the world in general, but I'm speaking about in the sort of the expert space, the thought leader space, all of this conversation about how to live your life's work, how to make a living doing what you love, how to give your gifts to the world in a way that is successful and sustainable and makes a real difference, right? So most of the people in my community and my tribe are people that know that there's something inside that they're here to do, that they're here to make a contribution, that they're here to make a difference. But they don't necessarily know what it is. And if they know what it is, they don't know how to do it. And often when they know what to do or how to do it, they don't have the confidence or sometimes the courage, because there's doubt and there's fear, to really go for it. And then what happens is in the self-help space and a lot of the success expert space, people come along and tell you it's as easy as 6 days to 6 figures, or 6 weeks to 6 figures, or 7 minutes to 7 figures. Believe me, it's all been said. And the problem with that is that it's not only just a lie, it's not only just fundamentally false, but is that actually there's what's really going on is the psychology of human growth and development, that marketers understand that the average person and even the above average person that wants to grow and have success, they don't want it to be hard. And they know that when they give you something, a free giveaway, a free training, and they say that it's actually shaped and it's designed to make it sound easy, because they understand psychologically that if it sounds hard, you're not going to give them your email. Okay? Now you might be like, whoa, he's actually telling the dirty little secrets. And I am. And the thought leader expert people that are doing this behind closed doors know that this is a problem, and they don't know how to get around it, because they're afraid that if they tell you to really fulfill your potential, to really make your difference, to make a living doing what you love is really hard, that you're just not going to buy their program or opt into their email list, and they're going to end up failing at their business. And they're not entirely wrong. That the truth is most people don't want to do hard work. But here's where it gets even worse. The whole self-help, spiritual, new age world has told us and conditioned us to believe that if it's hard, it must be a sign from the universe that it's not the right path. It must all be in flow. If the doors aren't opening, then you need to take a different path. And I really want you to understand that that is complete nonsense. That if you study the greatest leaders, healers, artists, innovators, change makers throughout all of history, you will not find a single example of anybody that's even just the average person that's lived a truly meaningful, purposeful, productive life. You will not find a single example where it was easy. You just won't. You will not find a single example, in fact, where it wasn't really, really hard. It was hard to have the courage and to make the time to discover who they were and why they were here. It was hard to make the time to develop themselves. It was hard to find the time, the energy, the resources to develop their abilities. It was hard to discover how to actually put them into the world in a way that communicated it so that people would see the value, get the benefit, and make a difference in their life. It was hard up against all manner of financial challenge, health challenge, family challenge, cultural challenge, to be a change in an environment where being a change meant being a disruptor, where your family would think you're crazy, where your partner would think you're wasting time and money, where your children, maybe you wouldn't be able to give them as much time as you wanted, where you wouldn't be able to give your friends as much time, where you would have to make sacrifices of short-term gains of comfort, convenience, and even safety and security. Whether it's Elon Musk or Steve Jobs or Oprah Winfrey or Jesus or Buddha or Lincoln or Joan of Arc or Mother Teresa or Uncle Joe or Mr. Smith down the street, who's made a great dent in his community or in the universe doing his thing, it's always been hard. It's never been easy, and it never will be. Now, that is not cynical. That is not negative. That is the truth. And when you understand that you were designed to do hard, that you are actually built, you are anti-fragile, that when you focus on what you truly value, on what you really have as your vision, and you develop your character and competence and habits and a plan and discipline and structure, all of these four-letter words, I understand, when you really do that, you develop the capacity to carry more energy, to carry more power, to carry more creativity, to be a channel of real insight, real wisdom, not just nonsense, cliche, regurgitated, theoretical stuff that nobody's ever done and that they've read out of a book and put together in a marketing strategy to sell you. That's not what I'm talking about. You have real wisdom to share. You have real gifts to share. But what we've been sold and conditioned is how to put together a beautiful gift box with no presence inside. How to build shiny cars with no engine in them. Often being sold by people who don't even have any specific gift that they're offering other than how to sell coaches on how to sell coaches on how to sell coaches, or how to sell programs on how to make programs so you can sell programs on how to make programs so you can sell programs, right? And you know that I'm telling you the truth here. And what I want to also expand this to the bigger conversation is this is the problem that happens in every industry, in every arena, and probably in every life. We start off with a pure intention, right? The idea of America was a pure idea. And then it became industrialized and politicized, and it became much more of a machine that's just living to survive. The idea of healthcare was a great idea, but then it became a machine that became crystallized and calcified and is largely about just keeping the machine alive and not necessarily keeping people alive. The idea of politics, of leadership, the idea of even the idea of military going to support and defend the rights of individuals became an industrial militarized complex. Every single idea, the idea of family, great idea until it becomes a tribe, tribalized. The idea of standing for your gender, standing for your race, your culture, your creed, to honor and own and unleash those capacities. Great idea until it becomes tribal or identity politics, until what it's really about is fighting to keep an idea or a concept whose time has passed. And it's no longer about real progress and evolution. And the same thing has happened by the way, when Jesus came along, he was not just this saint, he was a radical revolutionary who said, do not think I've come to bring peace. I have come with a sword to separate mother from daughter and father from son. In other words, he was going to all the structures, family, religion, commerce, gender, all the structures, and saying, you guys have gone asleep. You are now just fighting to keep the form alive, and you have died. Let the dead bury the dead. Women can follow rabbis. Women can become rabbis. Religion is not made for man. Man is made for religion. But Sabbath is not made for man. Man is made for the Sabbath. Get out of the temple with your commerce. Family, this is not all about it. Who is my brother and sister and mother and father? Those that do the work. Those that are about the business of something bigger than themselves. So real revolution, real evolution, and real progress has always occurred when someone has had the courage to speak their truth, to live their highest truth, no matter the cost. Always. And without that ability, without that willingness to stand in this moment and be in the real flow of emerging potential of what is our true evolutionary edge, and to live it, to speak it, to create a life that serves it. Without that, your life stagnates, your family, your relationship, your business, and your industry. And that is happening in the world right now. And more than ever, the forces of darkness, which really mean the force of survival, is fighting for its life. But simultaneously, the force of life itself is fighting to break through the tomb that we have been buried under so that new life can come in, new ideas and innovation about relationship and feminine power and sustainable living and structures on the planet, and not a sick care system, but a health creation system, and politics that have real purpose and real meaning and real vision and real values, et cetera, et cetera. And guess what? Guess who's got to lead that? Thought leaders, change makers, influencers. And guess the problem? What the problem is? The industry and the culture and the conditioning around this has become commoditized. so that mostly what you see is an industry of books, programs, speakers, teachers, experts that are teaching you how to just be a marketer, how to just strategize in tactics in terms to monetize your gifts, or to just do it the way they've done it. And most of who is doing that most successfully are marketers teaching you how to market. There's nothing wrong with that. But again, if you are able to market a great, beautifully wrapped gift, but there's no presence inside, meaning that thing that you are designed to deliver that is made to make an impact, it's just an empty box. When it says in the Bible, they ask for bread and you give them a stone. That's what's happened in this industry of experts and thought leaders. Now, there's lots of great people. I'm not saying everybody, but fundamentally, the reason why people don't trust all this stuff you see, that it's all hyperbole, the reason why even, by the way, banks and financial companies don't want to back a lot of coaches and healers and thought leaders and teachers because it's too big of a risk, because there's so much corruption and because there's so much fear and because there's a lot of lies and a lot of ignorance. But so the very source of where the people are meant to rise up and be the change that the world is waiting for is now become just as calcified and an industrialized complex as the very things that need to be changed. And I've become very aware of this over the last several years, and ultimately to the point where I'm aware that, and by the way, one of the things that really brought this to my doorstep in a very real way was during my last launch of Awaken Wealth, my merchant account froze my entire business. They would not release anything. And you know what they told me was the reason? That they can't trust the coaching transformational industry anymore. It's for all the reasons I'm telling you. It's no longer a good risk. That it doesn't work on paper anymore because there's so many lies and hyperbole and scams, and even honest, good-meaning people who have been conditioned to just merely hype and sell you a thing so that it sounds effortless and easy so that you'll buy it, only to discover that it's not easy, and you think either something's wrong with them, or more often you think there's something wrong with you. And so this is a real problem, that the very space, the educational transformational space of self-help and personal growth and spirituality and expert development has become a space where there's very little real development of true change makers. We've got a problem. And so that's why I'm on a mission to develop the next generation of real thought leaders. Real thought leaders. There actually used to be a time where people that stood up for a change to help people change their lives actually meant it. And that was actually their top priority and their bottom line. Whether it was a Martin Luther King Jr. or the great religious or philosophical figures, or a Bobby Kennedy or a Mother Teresa, there were people, and in other industries too, like even a Thomas Edison or a Steve Jobs, even though there's lots of character flaws, they were willing, or an Elon Musk, he was willing to be bankrupt in order to follow a vision and a dream. It was not about money, fundamentally. It was not about money for Oprah, fundamentally. It was not about money for Steve Jobs, fundamentally. Okay, again, I'm not saying these human beings don't have problems and flaws. I'm saying what was driving their mission and their vision, was mission, was excellence, was a big idea that they believed could make the world, at least in their area, a better place. And that's what I know many of you that are part of this community are feeling too. You know you're here for something more. You know you're here to make a difference. And there's so much confusion and so many shiny objects and so much pressure to keep up with the Joneses and have enough followers and enough emails on your list and create the next best trendy webinar that's going to have these high conversion rates, and the next best opt-in page is going to get a lot of people to convert, that we've lost the script. And if you disagree with me, tell me so, right? This is going to piss off a lot of marketers and people, and I'll tell you, it is the dirty little secret that in this industry, the amount of people that succeed with all of these get rich quick or be a big celebrity change maker, that the amount of people that succeed are in the single digits. And the experts know it, and they talk about it behind closed doors, and they don't know what to do about it because they're afraid that if they tell the truth, which is that, oh, okay, guys, let's pause. Let me just tell you the truth. This is freaking hard. This is hard to actualize your potential. This is hard to build a real business around your life's work. It's hard to develop the character and the consciousness and the confidence and the competence to actually fulfill that seed of potential planted in the soil of your soul. It's hard. But what's the alternative? Do you want to live your potential and fulfill your life's purpose? Or do you want to just sit on the couch and, eat bonbons? Because if you're not living your purpose, if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space. And if you're not living your true meaning for being here, you will stagnate, you will suffer. That creative energy will metastasize into problems, into pain, emotional, into stagnation financially, emotionally, relationally. That's why Jesus said in the Gospel of Thomas, if you believe that was his words, whoever's words, if you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. And Brene Brown said that unexpressed creativity is not benign. It metastasizes. It's cancerous. And if a branch doesn't bloom, what does a gardener do to it? It gets pruned. Okay? So it doesn't matter that it's hard. I really want you to hear this. It doesn't matter. What matters is you have two choices: to live and to give the fruits that you were designed for, or to stagnate and suffer and ultimately your life to stop working. That's the choice. Choose life or choose death. Choose growth or choose stagnation. Choose to be who you really are, or stay in the hypnotism of seeking safety, security, comfort, and convenience, and live a life of tolerated misery and quiet desperation. And I want to just tell you the truth, because very few people are telling it to you. And as I said in the beginning of this conversation, here's why. You don't want to hear that, okay? You don't want to hear that it's hard. If I put out a free gift or a free training and say, this is going to be really hard, you're not going to achieve it in 7 days, it's going to take some real time to understand it and digest it and deliver it, are you going to opt in for that? And most people will not. So we have a challenge here. How do we communicate this truth to people in a way that's authentic, that wakes them up to the fact that if they want to live the life, if you want to have what others don't, you have to be willing to do what others won't. If you want to grow your muscles, you have to tear your muscles. If you've only doing 10 reps and you just do 10 reps and it's no problem, you do it every day, there's no growth there. The growth happens on the reps you can't do yet, that you have to tear your muscles, that you have to sweat. If you go to school and you want to get smarter and better, and you don't want any tests and you don't want any challenge, you don't want your brain to hurt a little bit, you're not going to get better or smarter, and therefore you're not going to evolve and progress, and therefore more life won't move through you and more potential will not manifest, period. So I'm here to teach you the principles. I'm here to teach you what it really takes to live the life you were born for, to live your life's work, to launch your work into the world in a real sustainable way. And there is a way. The greatest change makers and revolutionaries and evolutionaries throughout history have done it. And I've studied them. And there are principles and practices, and they are almost entirely not what most people are teaching. And it wasn't the ethos then. Back then, if you tried to tell Thomas Jefferson or, any of the great founding fathers, or the founding fathers didn't get together and go, let's figure out a great marketing strategy to make a lot of profit off of America. Right? The Renaissance artists, the entrepreneur, or the filmmakers, Spielberg and all these guys that got together to transform filmmaking, they didn't go, let's get together and figure out a way to just profit off of film. They ended up profiting, but they said, there's a big idea here that's emerging. Do you feel it? Me too. Let's get together and talk about how we can allow this next stage of art and science and technology and government and all of these things in philosophy to come through. Let's come together, agree what's emerging, and support each other in the difficult work that it takes to be clear, to have courage, to have the commitment, and develop the character so we can actually change the world for the better. And every great movement, from women's suffragists and women's rights to civil rights to every growth in every arena, has required an individual with the courage to live their truth no matter the cost, that then forms a community with the courage to support each other, to live their dream and live their purpose. And eventually they are seen as crazy or disruptive. And then they are seen as, oh my God, they're making sense. and then eventually they become the status quo, and they take life to the next level, and then that gets crystallized, calcified, it becomes a machine that just tries to survive, and somebody else emerges and shakes it up and says, you guys have stopped growing, let's keep growing and going together, and another thought leader arises, and another group forms, and evolution happens. We're in a time right now where people are crying out for real evolutionaries and thought leaders. When people like Marianne Williamson now are standing up there and talking about love and getting the most searched out of 49 out of 50 states. When Jordan Peterson, who's trying to teach personal responsibility, and most people don't understand what he's teaching and think he's, right-wing, he's actually a liberal, or Sam Harris or Joe Rogan, and they're getting billions of downloads and filling stadiums, not by clever marketing strategies, but by speaking their heart, even if you don't agree with them. The people are like, thank God somebody's telling the truth, or at least trying to have a real conversation about what really matters. That's what's trying to emerge right now. And people are waiting for you to step up, to stand up, to be heard, to be seen, to be speaking your truth as best you can. And guess what? You're not going to know what that truth is or how to develop it without speaking it, sharing it, being in healthy dialogues and even debates where you get feedback, pushback, and you build the stamina and the resilience and the willingness and the humility to keep growing and going and sharing. It won't happen any other way. It never has in evolution in nature, and it never has in evolution in human experience. So I'm doing a live event at the end of September, and this is what it's really about. This is where my whole mission is about: developing real thought leaders, real change makers, real influencers with the support, the guidance, the underlying principles and practices in the community, so that together we can launch out into the world as these new seeds of hope and potential and create a world that works for the highest good of all. And that's the zeitgeist right now, and has a lot to do with feminine power, which does not look like masculine power. When feminine power leads and masculine power builds the form around it, we build sustainable structures that grow and expand. When merely masculine power, which is about holding on to form and saving and fighting and killing for it, we create structures that are destructive, that are detrimental, and that are not sustainable. That is what is emerging right now. And that deep call in your heart to live your mission and to live your vision and to make your difference is the feminine power. That part of you that either doesn't know or needs to learn how to put form to it so that it communicates in a compelling way, so that it's sustainable, that's your masculine power. You need both. And at this live event, Live Your Life's Work, live, September 27th to the 29th in sunny Long Beach, California, we're going to get together and I'm going to walk you through step by step the real truth, the real practices, the real work that is required to discover your life's work hidden in your life story, to turn it into a unique expression of your soul's signature offering, what life has been developing and designing you to give. And it's all there in your story, your unique platform, your ideal client or tribe, your unique way of delivering it, that transformational result you're meant to deliver. Whether you're a teacher or a speaker, a trainer, an artist, a performer, it doesn't matter. It applies to each and every one of you. But it's not just about me being the sage on the stage. It's about me really being a guide on the side and me being one of you. So I'll walk you through what it took me from giving talks to my cats in my underwear to speaking and touching hundreds of thousands of people a year. By the way, what most of the experts said I could not do, you cannot go out there and just talk about the truth and spiritual living and purpose. You have to be talking about making money and all these things, or you're going to fail. And I said, thank you for sharing. And I did it anyway. And I grew my business faster than those experts that had told me that. And that's not hype and that's not boasting. It's because of this principle that I stumbled on and then I became a student of for the last 20 years. And that's what I'm going to teach you. So you can launch your life's work, live your deepest mission and purpose successfully and sustainably, and also heal your life through the process of it. Because when you're really in alignment with your life's work, you heal your life story, you open up to latent capacities and resources, you release all the resistance that has been blocking you. It's a powerful transformational experience. And we're going to have some friends, rock stars that travel the world with Coldplay and Pink come and and sing with us and activate our potential through sound. We're going to have sound healers that'll come and activate and open up your energy centers in a very accelerated way. We're going to have renowned photographer that comes and will take a soul photograph of you that will capture your real presence and essence and giftedness that you can use in your marketing if you choose. There's going to be so much going on here. We're going to laugh and dance and sing and celebrate together. And because you're listening, and if you're still listening especially, because I know I'm breaking the rules of how videos should be short, and I'm actually giving you real substance, that I want to give you a free bonus ticket to this event. It's normally a $1,000 event, and I'm going to give it to you for free. You just have to go to the Live Your Life's Work Live, the link there, and there's only a small $97 seat holder. And that's just a deposit, and you'll get that back when you come. The reason is for obvious purposes. If there's no barrier to entry, then a lot of people will just say, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Like people just sign up for every newsletter, and most of them won't show up because there's no leverage on them. There's no accountability. So it's a small deposit. Make that choice. If you resonate with what I'm saying, if you want to finally know how to live your life's work successfully and sustainably, you want to heal the unconscious patterns that have been sabotaging you, you want to snap out of these hypnotic spells that have been telling you what you can't do and how you should do it and who you should be, nobody can tell you who you should be. Nobody can say, do it like me. I'm not going to tell you how to do it like me. I'm going to show you the principles and practices that are universally applicable. That's what we're teaching here. We're not teaching trendy concepts or theories. Proven principles, right? If you understand the law of buoyancy and how to align your body to it, it doesn't matter how long you've been sinking, it doesn't matter what culture you come from or how old you are, you will float instantly if you understand it and how to apply it. So this is not personal, it's principle. And that's what I'm going to teach you. Proven principles to live your life's work, to discover your life's work, to launch your life's work, and to make a difference in a sustainable way. And if you want that, and you want to be part of a community of thought leaders and experts and healers that are committed to the real deal, to the real truth, to living their truth, to being lights in the world, to being servants of real change, but doing it in an awesome, joyful, successful way. There's no martyrdom here. There's no need to. If you want to be part of that, find new clients, new partners, new network, bring your gifts, talk about them, bring your books, talk about them, then this is the place to be. There's no other event like it. There has been no event like it. And if you want to be part of that movement, please come and support all of us and support this movement, because real change is desperately needed now. And it can't be done without real change makers. And the status quo of merely looking up how to monetize your gifts in the world is not going to do it. It's narcissistic, it's self-centered, and it doesn't work. That's the bottom line. If it really truly worked, if the statistics showed it worked, no problem. It doesn't work. But there is a way that does. And it's not being taught for the reasons I'm telling you. And some of you may be listening to me and going, this sounds too hard. It's too hard. I want to just go watch Netflix. And I understand, but I want you to understand there is no easy path. Not in nature and not in human nature, but there is a real path to success and to real fulfillment. There is a real path. And you, like I said, you're anti-fragile. You are designed to get stronger and better and happier by doing the real, necessary, and often difficult work that is in alignment with your deepest values and vision. When those come together, you get bigger, you get stronger. You stop looking at the heavy weight and praying to make it lighter, and you start praying and doing the things that make you stronger. You stop looking at the goal that's too far and wish it was closer. You start praying and doing the work to make your reach further. You build the habits and the character that determines your destiny. And then nothing the world does can stop you, because whatever's missing is what you're not bringing. And if you want to bring more, if you want to learn how to unleash your imprisoned splendor and your full potential, and if you doubt that you have a real mission and purpose and potential, I'm telling you, you wouldn't be here if you didn't. If you want that, please join me September 27th to 29th in Long Beach. Put it on your calendar. Find a way to be there if you really want to live your life's work and you don't have a better option right now. and understand that doing it live is an accelerator. It's an attractor pattern that will give you a quantum leap. Last time we did a live event, people showed up that were shut-ins, they were using canes, they were depressed, they were confused, they were afraid, and they danced out of that event, literally without their canes. I remember one woman that had been a shut-in that had to wear these really thick glasses because she couldn't even see the light. No more glasses, 10 years off of her age. Some people even got married. People found new clients. Since that event, a lot of those people have published multiple books, launched programs, filled their practices, gotten radio shows, put on shows, all manner of things that have happened. So if you want to be part of that kind of aspiring and growing and powerful community and get the love and support you need to take your life and work to the next level, just click on the link or go to liveyourlifeswork.com, LIFES, no apostrophe, liveyourlifeswork.com. Share it with a friend if you resonate and you believe this can benefit somebody. And but just make sure you click on it and grab your free bonus ticket now, because the free bonus tickets will run out, okay? So if you have anything you want to ask me or share right now, feel free to post. But I see a lot of little hearts and things going up, and I really appreciate it. And you can always post after the video, and I'll be looking to respond. And I'm gonna have to go now because I forgot to turn the air on, and it's about 90 degrees where I live, and I'm about to start sweating. I'm actually starting sweating. So I love and appreciate you guys. I appreciate you listening, and there'll be much more of this real talk, deep dialogue, truth telling. Let's take it to the next level together. Until next time, live authentically, love unconditionally, and follow your destiny.